So yet another game against a control deck. It's amazing how many other powerful control decks are, and yet how resilient Stoneblade can be. Let's find out how resilient in today's matchup today. Okay, so I didn't know I was playing against Miracles. I'm on the draw. Seems a little awkward because usually you don't want to lead with Tundra. It can get wastelanded. But aside from that, I do have both colors. I do have Brainstorm, Polluted Delta, plus an island planes, so to speak. Other cards aren't that bad. Not the greatest hand, not the worst, but not one I would mulligan. It's playable. It's got some good stuff, so let's keep it. Looks like opponent mulliganed. Okay, cool. Anyway, I'm like, oh, okay. Flooded Strand. That's a good draw. So at this point, they could have been Delver, maybe? A very slow Delver. Does Delver play Flooded Strand? I don't know. Like, these decks are playing so many colors nowadays. Hey, I have that card too. But at this point, it was looking more of like Miracles or Stoneblade. Okay, so here I want to play Tundra. I don't want to do anything. I like being able to Spell Pierce something, because remember, they were on the play, so they could play a third turn Haymaker. If they don't do anything, I can always Brainstorm, shuffle stuff away. So, as always, we're doing nothing. Playing mana on their turn is very beneficial. So now I thought it was Stoneblade too. I'm like, okay. I see where you're coming from. Let's Brainstorm. And let's assess what we got. Wow. Wow, wow, wee wow. The good news is we have like everything covered, almost everything. The bad news is we don't have any lands, and lands are really good. So here, Swords probably has to go, and maybe a Spell Pierce. Like, this is a really tough one. I think it's going to be Swords and Pierce, or maybe I might have put the Swords back. And then any other random card and not shuffled. So definitely keeping the other one. So it's between this and this, or just this and not shuffling. Okay, so it was that. Because Spell Pierce isn't going to be all that bad. Let's see if I shuffled. Okay, I did. It's fine. Because I need land now, so it makes sense that I did that. Alright, that's perfect. So here I'm playing land and doing nothing, because I want to be able to keep up Counterspell, plus Counterspell and Pierce, plus Counterspell and Spell Snare. This is another one of those times in a game where you play into another control deck and you just get so destroyed. Like if I play Stoneforge here, if I play True-Name here, they're gonna have all their mana open, and I pretty much can't do anything. Like they're gonna play any Haymaker, and I can't, do anything against it. If I was gonna play anything, it might be Stoneforge, but I still like the combination of being able to play Spell Pierce and Counterspell. I'm pretty much, unless they have a lot of counter magic, they would need, especially if they played something for 3, they would need a lot of counter magic and like a Spell Pierce maybe. So I can counter something, or if they do nothing, next turn I can ponder. So I'm going to keep it like that. Because at this point, I'm looking for mana now. I have a really good hand. I'm just going to wait till I can extend my mana base and then finally make a move depending on what they do. Okay, that's fine. I don't have the thing on the right here, so I'm not sure if they shuffled it or not, but no big deal. Okay, hey, it came back to us. So here I want land, so I'm going to be pondering. And that is perfect. Wow, 3 of a kind. Keep. Give me. And at best, I would love to not shuffle, because given the fact of what I have in my hand, being able to play all of those out would just be awesome. Because eventually they're going to have to play something, and it's going to cost mana, and that's still going to mean the Pierces are going to be good. Counterspell is always going to be good. So I'm just waiting to make my move. Okay, so this is an important one. I think, like, what would you do right here? Would you do Spell Pierce or Counterspell? I think the majority of people in the world would be like, yes, Spell Pierce easily. 1, it's just 1 mana, right? And Spell Pierce is slowly getting worse. Like, if they get 1 more mana, they could play a Narset and play around it, okay? And then there's obviously Counterspell. The good thing about both of these is that I can play Counterspell, I can play Spell Pierce, and I still don't have to fetch. So I think overall Spell Pierce is going to be great here. However, there is some merit to actually using Counterspell here. Okay. That was one of those scenarios where I didn't catch it, but that could be a slight mistake. I wouldn't say a mistake, but a different way of playing it. Okay, assuming the fact that they're mostly tapped out and I'm probably going to be playing Narset here, if I realized that I was going to be playing Narset, Counterspell would have actually been the better choice in this specific scenario. Now, given the fact they weren't playing much as well, let's get a Plains here. I wasn't assuming that they were going to have all this counter magic. Okay, so once again, Counterspell or Spell Pierce. Let's go with Pierce. And now, okay, so you see what I mean? Like, if I had thought ahead that, like, okay, I want 2 Spell Pierces to protect my Narset, that would have been great, but I also never knew that there was going to be this much counter stuff going on. So it's hard to say that's a mistake. Like I said, if this was my Spell Pierce, boom, Spell Pierce, and they're in big trouble. But that didn't go through, and that's the way Magic works somehow. I realized that after I wasn't beating myself up over it. Like, that's a very interesting call to make, because like I said, Spell Pierce, as the game drags on, gets pretty bad. Hello, Spell Pierce. Okay, so that was either a top deck or they were sitting back on it. You'll see a lot of Jace in these games. Not worried at all. Like I said, see one, play one. Okay, so play a true name here. I'm going for Jace. The only thing that they could have right here is a Spell Pierce. That's the only thing that's going to be able to stop this, so they don't. Let's shuffle. I mean, not shuffle. Let's draw 3. Okay, so what do we want here? Definitely want that. Let's see. I think I threw back Stoneforge and Counterspell. Counterspell simply because I know it's going to be a great card. Obviously, I can protect stuff, but I do have my Force of Will for that, so I am going to want to play Narset next turn. So I think it's Stoneforge and Counterspell, and I kept Counterspell on top. Should they not do anything, like I wouldn't fetch and I would get it back. However, I think hindsight here, probably to be best would be Stoneforge and Ponder, simply because I got Jace going, so I probably don't need that. So I did Ponder and Counterspell. Okay. I guess I wanted that to get some action going. I did have True Name for that as well. That could have gone either way. So they'd have to play something like really specific for me to crack and use Snare, which is fine. Okay, Ponder, cool. Okay, so they ended up playing a 2-drop, so I guess we are going to be fetching and countering that. Gotta love Spell Snare. Just sits in your hand, use it at the perfect time. Okay, so either way, we're in a good spot. I mean, look at all the cards we have. I've yet to use Jace, and I have this, and I have protection for it, so let's go ahead and draw 3. We need protection for our Narset, which we have found. Here, it's looking like it's going to be Jitte and Swords. Either way, perfect. Let's play Narset, blue, Plains. They have 1 card in their hand, so they're in trouble. Yeah, go ahead. What do you got? Nothing? Cool. Oh, I did that quick, but it was swords, and, what's the word? Jitte. Yep, we can do with this. Okay, so obviously we're forcing this, but the question is, what do we want to pitch? I believe here is going to be Spell Snare, because True Name is great. Yep. And they conceded. Okay, so interesting game in the beginning. It was kind of even. That one turn where it was like choosing to use the Spell Pierce or the Counterspell, that was a weird one. Like I said, like you want to use Spell Pierce there just to get rid of it, because as the game goes on, it's like it's harder to find a spot to use. In fact, there would have been a lot of spots to use it, but like I said, I don't really see that as much of a mistake, especially when like You know, were you really expecting an opponent to have that much counter magic? Maybe, because they were playing pretty slow, like with me. But either way, we got the best of it in the end, thanks to our Twin Towers here. Okay, so that is game number 1 against Miracles. Let's go to the sideboard now. All right, so against Miracles, we want Volk, we want Blast, we want Blast, we want Blast. I don't want Surgical. Sometimes people will bring this in to fight against their Red Blast. We don't know if they're on Red Blast. I don't think I saw Volk, so that would not be a good idea. Flusterstorm isn't the worst in the world. It's really going to be up to your play style, whether you want to use that. You can really bait them a lot of times when it comes to getting some, mileage or usage out of that. I chose not to use it in this specific game. Either way, Force of Negation is great. This game is all about Planeswalkers. Sometimes you can have all the card advantage in the world, but if you have Narset and Jace, they're going to be in trouble, or just even Narset by itself. Clique is great. Priest, pretty much you can just nip at them for 2. I mean, it does trade with a Snapcaster, which isn't the greatest in the world. I don't like bringing it in. And that's pretty much it. So those are the 6 cards. Since we are bringing in Volk, we're taking out a Plains. Go over here. Thank you. Let's do this. Back to basics. Easy out. Come on. About 2 Force of Wills. And we got 1 more card. I think it was. Let me just check everything else. Jitte's not bad for getting some nice, you can shuffle it away. I like Pierces and Snares, especially the early game. You can usually sometimes find a use for them late game, sometimes. And I think I took out 1 Swords. I wasn't sure if they were playing Mentor, but is that 60 cards? Oh, wait, hold on. No, it is. I wasn't sure if they were playing Mentor. I didn't see it. They did have Entreat, but either way, I don't mind having, I guess there's not a whole lot else I could use. Maybe bring in a Flusterstorm, take out a Swords. Like I said, it's really going to depend on the build of Miracles, but that's what I ended up going with, so let's go to game number 2. So here we are in game number 2. An opponent was very nice enough to let us play first. They wanted the card advantage. Okay, that's fine. And I believe I threw this one back. It sucks that we are on the play, losing that card. But I mean, Swords isn't great in this. I mean, pitching maybe this to this would suck, and just having a Ponder left. I'm pretty sure I threw this back. Please throw it back. I didn't throw it back. Oh my god. Yes, awesome. I love what I do that all the time. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I threw this back. I didn't. Whatever. Okay, so apparently I can make it work either way. I guess it's not the worst hand in the world in retrospect. Maybe I was thinking of a different game that I played where I did throw back. So let's ponder. Okay. And let's see what we got now. So I have plenty of fetches. I do like Brainstorm because I can smooth out my hand. So here what I'm going to be doing is Arid Mesa, Councils, and Brainstorm. I want that Brainstorm most specifically. And from what I know, they're not playing any discards, so I can actually keep it in my hand. Sure. Let's play Polluted. Let's do nothing. Move these around a little. OCD. Looks like we're going to be brainstorming here. Island, brainstorm. Let's get rid of some of this crap. Okay, even more crap. So let's take a look. These are the important brainstorms. They can make or break your hand, the game, so on and so forth. So what do I not want here? Councils isn't bad. I mean, it can get rid of Planeswalkers, I believe, but also Swords is horrible. We don't need that right now. So I think it was Swords, and then maybe, or like Swords and Volcanic, I think, because then I could always just fetch for it later. Okay, that was Swords and something else. Ponder? Apparently I wanted all my lands. Okay, that's fine too. That works. Okay. Like I said, there's multiple ways of doing it. So I can actually fetch here. And I can ponder. That's perfect. And that's why I didn't play a land, because in case I, needed a different card to play or whatever, and I get Hydroblast, that's good. So anyway, Island's going to be last, then Snapped and Hydroblast. Here I'm just looking for protection against if they play something. I should have played Flooded Strand here, but I played Arid Mesa. Arid Mesa gives them more of an idea that I have Hydroblast in my deck. That's the reasoning behind that. And it doesn't matter, because if I play this, I'm fetching Volk. If I play this, I'm fetching Tundra. They both get the dual lands, so... Okay. And I want Snapcaster. Snapcaster's good. Land. Sure. Brainstorm, go ahead. Now this guy's gonna bite at me like a little mosquito. I've seen that a lot. So did I shuffle? Because land is good here. I did, okay. I guess I wanted something better. Because I do always have Snapcaster Brainstorm, so... Okay, it's not bad. I mean, like I said, I'm not disappointed when it comes to getting more land. Okay, so this was the time where if they weren't playing anything, I was going to use Snapcaster Brainstorm, but something I didn't realize, and maybe you didn't realize either, go to end. Nope, they got something. Let's see, I think I went with Force of Negation here. I have a lot of mana open, so sure. Okay, cool. A very controlling game. Okay, so here's where I made a little, I don't know if it's a oopsie daisy, but I've done this before. I'm like, all right, because I want to be able to use Snapcaster and Brainstorm, and I didn't realize they had 8 cards. They were moving the discard. I've done this before because now if I play Snapcaster, they're going to be just, of course they're going to want to kill it or counter it because they have to, you know, draw the hand size or discard the hand size anyway. So I actually didn't realize that at the time. But anyway, they ended up Force of Willing it, which was interesting. So, I mean, they would have moved to 7, and now they moved to 6, so I guess that wasn't the worst in the world. And I didn't want to Pyroblast that. You gotta save your Pyroblast for the good stuff. So, if they want to do that, fine. They can have it. Okay, well, we're getting lands now. I will play that. And this was kind of... I didn't want to wait till their turn. I mean, like, well, if I put it this way, they could have Force of Negation that. If I do it on their upkeep, they can Force of Negation there. If I wait, they could draw another land and hardcast it. I just wanted to get it out of the way. That was the reasoning for that. There probably could have been a better time to do that, but I feel that thing was just going to keep poking at me. Okay, this I'm Pyroblasting, because that's going to start poking at me too. All these mosquitoes biting me. Hand's a little eh. They do have the card advantage. They were on the draw. Ooh, that's a great one. Okay. See, now the question is, like, do I want to use Snapcaster for Brainstorm? Do I want to use it for Pyroblast? I don't. There's a good card. I believe I waited here. Because what I wanted to do is end the turn Snapcaster, Brainstorm, maybe bait out some type of counterspell. Okay, cool. Let's do that. And that's perfect because that's a red blast that's not going for Jace. I believe I did. Did I play this? I think I did. I probably didn't need to do that, but I wanted the blue, blue, white, white to be up, but not the biggest thing in the world. Okay. I'm doing that so I can keep my, what's it called, Volk open. Let's pay. Okay, so there's a 2 for 2, I guess, so let's force that. We're fighting over that. And there's the Flusterstorm. Okay, that's fine. So that cost them 3 cards, and I guess that was 3 cards, so that was pretty much even. Okay, sure. That was my window that I went for, which is fine. They weren't doing a whole lot else, so it's pretty much top deck mode. And alright, I talked about Jace before. You're going to be seeing a lot of him lately, or later, or earlier, whatever. It was the other game where I had against Snowco, where I knew I had a Ponder on top, but I shuffled and then drew Jace. So it's nice to see you again, Jace. How you doing? Did you draw anything in the meantime? No, you did not. Let's brainstorm. Okay, so, well, now you know what I'm doing. I want to keep Counterspell because I need to protect this, and if they don't do anything, I'm going to click them. So Flooded Strand and then Judgment on top, just in case they play anything. I would rather get a Judgment next turn as opposed to getting a Flooded Strand. Okay, upkeep. Oh, okay, you got one of these too? Sure. This is good, though, because if that's going in their hand and they didn't counter this before, that means they probably don't have anything else, unless it's like a Spell Pierce, so we are definitely counterspelling that. And that was that. Okay, then. Well, that was another win against a control deck, which is pretty powerful. Miracles is definitely a good control deck, but Stoneblade can actually grind out against a lot of these decks. Believe it or not, it's I've done it so many times. You've seen all the games I play against them. In fact, what was it? When I first started against Miracles, it was like something kind of shitty, like 2-3. I put Narset in, and then it was 10-0 after that. Once I like realized what the deck was all about, it's pretty much how I do it against any other deck. Where if I'm not sure what they're all about or the cards that they have, it's really hard to play against. But once you realize what they're up to, you can actually play a much better control game. It's more about preventing haymakers, developing your mana base and knowing like the best times to attack in terms of, playing your cards. And then, of course, drawing Jace off the top is very nice, but, sometimes opponents can draw that too, which they have in the games. We'd still deal with it. There's times where they drew Oko off the top in the other games, and we still deal with it. Regardless, Stoneblade has all the answers to all these cards. Either way, another win for the good guys against another controlled deck. Thank you for watching. Have the best day ever.